big win for him on Saturday. He defeated Uriah Hall, and there he is, Derek Brunson, texting as we get to the Skype machine. Who are you texting, Derek?
Man, you know what? I'm actually trying to keep up with the show, trying to keep up with what's going on.
Oh, wow.
So, no.
What a nice plug. What do you mean keep up with the show? So much has gone on today.
I mean, I heard you talking about Jorge Masvidal and that fight that he had. Just trying to keep up with the current stuff in MMA.
What a nice recovery that is, Derek. Thank you. Well, congratulations on the win. When you were preparing for this fight, when you got the fight, leading up to the fight, did you envision knocking him out?
I envisioned myself knocking everybody out, but I didn't. I don't know. It depends. I didn't know how Uriah Hall would come at me. I mean, I saw a lot of instances, different like scenarios. He might come out and run and try to fly and knee me, try to like karate kick me, or he might come out really patient, you know? So I was just prepared wherever the fight went.
Now, when was it? Friday at the early weigh-ins, what happened between you two? You came in at the same time, right?
Well, I'm trying to think which scenario you're talking about. Because me and Uriah Hall in it like about 5 times.
What?
Like, all week long. He separated like 5 times. It was crazy.
Okay, tell me about each time. When did it first happen?
Well, I think the first time, open workouts. Uriah Hall was finishing open workouts, and I was going to open workouts. So he was leaving the shuttle, and I was coming to the shuttle. And we were just kind of like walking by each other, and then we both just kind of like slowed down. And then we kind of like got in each other's face, and I was like shaking my head, and he was like, yeah, all you're going to try to do is hold me down. I was like, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So, and then I was like, I called him a boy, and he was just getting all upset. He's like, boy, you called me a boy. You know, he was trying to get all in my face, and like a couple of UFC people came in front and like separated us. Then we had another instance in the back right after weigh-ins. He came up to me because I was sitting down ready to be interviewed by Fox, and he came up to me and just was running his mouth. You know, like every time all week long he saw me, he just came up to me and was running his mouth. And then it's funny, at weigh-ins, at the official weigh-ins, we almost got into it also. He went and weighed in probably like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 minutes before me, and I'm going to weigh in. You know, I'm like, I don't know, dehydrated, and he's already weighing in. He had a couple drinks in him, and he came up to me, and he was just like blabbing at the mouth, and then Heidi stepped in between us, and he was just like talking trash. So it was a we had it out a lot that week.
Yeah. And then you go in there and you actually have to fight the guy. Did that raise the stakes after all of that? Once you get to Saturday, were you like, oh man, there is no way I'm losing to this guy after all this?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And I'm sure he was feeling the same way. But it's funny, though, because Uriah Hall, he did all this talking. I mean, I heard all of his interviews. Even when we did, like, you know, the interviews for the TV, he was saying, you know, Derek is not dangerous. He's a born fighter. There's no way he can beat me, you know. And I looked across. He walked past me. When he got in the cage, he walked past me. And I looked at him, and he just looked at me, and he, like, blinked, and he nodded his head. I was like, I don't know if he really feel like that confident anymore. And then we got across the cage, and we were looking at each other. You know, we were staring each other down. And then I saw him blink again, and I saw it in his eyes. I was like, he is regretting everything that he said, because now he has to actually what he said, you know. So at that moment, and I smiled at him right before, you know, we got after it. But I knew at that moment he kind of regretted all the stuff he said because he had to back it up. So
the whole fight lasts 1 minute and 41 seconds. That is your 4th straight first round finish. And in this particular fight, you drop him early, and then it's ground and pound time, and then you're pulled off, and you're celebrating. And then, of course, everyone says, or a lot of people are saying, early stoppage. What's your response to this talk?
Man, honestly, it doesn't matter. I don't really care if it's an early stoppage, late stoppage. You know, I guess if I'm on the opposite end, and let's say somebody dropped me, and I guess I would want time to recover. It kind of depends. You know, it goes both ways. But as a fighter, you know, like Uriah Hall hasn't said anything. You know, he hasn't posted on any social media, haven't said anything. Because, you know, as a fighter, you know, you can't get caught in those positions. It's martial arts. It's about protecting yourself. You know, the fans want to see more. They're there to see fights. You know, they want to see more. They want to see, you know, people get put unconscious, whatever. But you can't get put in those spots. You know, you can't get caught. You know, we're highly trained individuals. So we know how to protect ourselves, and we know that, you can't get hit like that. Uriah got hit with a big left hook, and he was down. The only thing that woke him up, per se, is him hitting the canvas. Like, he dropped. He was out. He was limp. His back hit the cage, then his head hit the cage.
Yeah.
Then I hit him with an elbow that connected. I threw another punch, and I hit the canvas. I'm not going to lie. I hit the canvas. Like, boom. And I was like, man. In the middle of punching, I was like, that was bad. Then I followed up, grazed his chin, and I grazed his head. And just looking at him, yeah, he was pretty out. And then Herb Dean stopped in the middle. And I was thinking, what are you doing, Herb? I was thinking, I thought he was going to give him more time. So I was going to posture up and keep punching. But in my opinion, I think that was a great stoppage because he was limp, he was out. And the fans don't see every angle. Uriah Hall got up and he was single-legging Herb. But that's the thing with him also. If you have a fighter that's been punched a lot and been knocked out a lot of times, they're not going to be able to recover there or look like they was knocked out. Uriah Hall hasn't been knocked out, so his chin is relatively good. So he can recover faster. So he goes out and he comes back and like he was never out. But if he keeps taking those type of punches, he'll just be out. So, yeah, he was definitely out, I saw it firsthand. How
much did it hurt to punch the canvas?
It didn't bust my hands up or anything, okay. But I'd rather do that again.
So do you think the left hook in its own right finished him? That's all you...
Yeah, that's vicious. And if I hit anybody with that left hook, they're going down.
Damn.
So, yeah, the left hook was what done it. It's no way he was covering. And you know what? I'm not trying to lobby or say it wasn't an early stoppage because really, honestly, I don't care. My job was to go show up and fight and to sign my show and win bonus, and that's what I did. So after that, my job was done. But my wrestling coach made the best because he's defending me on Facebook and stuff, which on the Fox thread. But he said, you think a guy who's a 3-time All-American gonna let him get back to his feet, which obviously he would have got to his feet a little drunk and his equilibrium would have been off still. That's impossible for him to recover there, or I don't know. I'm going to be punching for 5 minutes to the buzzer go.
Man, you are on some kind of roll right now. Like I said, that's 5 in a row. 7 of 8. If you want to include the run prior to the Romero fight, controversial. If you would have won the Romero fight, where do you think you'd be right now? Do you think you'd be champ already?
Yeah, honestly, I think I will. Not discrediting anybody because, man, it's nothing but love for everybody who fight in my division, This isn't it's just a sport, It's not what it used to be. MMA is a sport. We go out here, we do battle. Everybody have family, friends. They train really hard. But, yeah, I'm 100% confident I can beat everybody in the division, And honestly, I'm not being cocky. I'm not talking trash. But anybody who beat me will have to get lucky, Nobody's just going to, out-technique me. I'm very well-rounded now. I fought Jacare back in 2012, and he caught me. And, I can actually watch that clip in peace, and it's funny and it's laughable because you have a guy who's been fighting for over a year, and he's fighting this guy who's been fighting in Japan, former champion. He's been through all the tough fights, and he's primed. He's ready. You got a guy like me, green. I'm coming in. I want to do well. Everybody is picking him to win. I'm I know myself. I'm I can beat this guy, but me knowing or me thinking I can beat someone, I have to be, skilled, and I have to put my time in the sport. And since then, I've done that. I've stayed true to my training. I put my time in, and I believe, I am that complete martial artist now. Nobody has seen my jiu-jitsu, but I have really good jiu-jitsu. I submit black belts, so yeah, it's only a matter of time,
What was the turning point for you? When do you think you started to become that complete fighter? Because as you mentioned, when you fought Jacare, and I'm wondering, by the way, if you still feel like you are, and I know I'm asking 2 questions here, but what the hell? Are you still paying for that loss to Jacare in a sense? Do you feel like that's why you're not getting pushed more because that didn't happen all that long ago and he's still a top contender?
No, time ago. That was 2012? That was my first. Yeah. I started fighting. My first professional fight was late 2010.
I know. It hasn't been that long.
Yeah. What, 4 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
All right, fair enough. You've done a lot, so fair enough.
Look at like Kane and like Junior Dos Santos. A lot has changed since then. Like,
Sure.
you remember that first fight on Fox?
Yeah.
When he caught him big overhand, maybe 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Everybody at who don't understand martial arts is like, oh, King sucks, blah, blah, blah. But in all reality, I mean, those who follow martial arts and know martial arts, I mean, some people get caught sometimes. It goes like that sometimes. He come back and he fights maybe like, a fight or two later, and he smokes him for 5 rounds. So, and then I think he fought him again and beat him. But it just goes like that sometimes.
Okay, so when do you think you turned the corner and became that well-rounded? I mean, this amazing striker. I mean, 4 straight first-round finishes in a matter of seconds is a very hard thing to pull off.
Yeah, it is. And it's funny because after my fights, I'm like, man, like, honestly, I've never been I fought some high-level guys. I've been around now. I've been through Strike Force, UFC now. But I never leave fights busted up. I had that one fight, when I messed up my jaw. But, it's just like a surreal run, I guess. I think it's just the hard work. And, yeah, I mean, I definitely need to be pushed more, The middleweight division in UFC is tough. It's stacked. The guys at the bottom, these guys been around for a long time. They've been champs in other divisions. There's a lot going on. So I definitely think I need to be pushed more as far as marketing by the UFC. Yeah.
How was Hidalgo? What was that like?
Hidalgo was cool. And funny enough, me and my cousin, we got there, and this training camp was so draining and stressful, because I was supposed to fight 200. So I was out of action for about 6 months, So I was getting antsy. And we got to Hidalgo, and we actually rented a car one day, and we went to Mexico. So we went to
Oh, wow.
we crossed the border. Everybody, I got a haircut, and all the barbers are like, don't go to Mexico. We was like, why? And it's like, it's dangerous. And one guy showed me a picture where like, it was a mom, a like 3-year-old son, and like the father, and they were all like face down, like bloody. I guess it was like somebody got killed by the cartel, like that.
Wow.
There. But I was like, I was just bored, tired of sitting around. So we rented a car and we drove over. We drove through like, I don't know, all the like poor little towns. And it was surreal. It was very humbling. These guys live in like little small shacks the size of someone's bathroom. And, I don't know. I like seeing stuff like that. It just shows you what type of world we live in and teach you to be a little appreciative. So
did that put you in the right mindset going into a fight?
It did, it's relaxing, it's calm, it made me think, be thankful.
Yeah.
I worked really hard, so just go out here and do what I've been training, and the rest will take care of itself. So
you were supposed to fight Mousasi at 200. You had to pull out of that fight. Can you tell us why you had to pull out?
Yeah, well, I was in Albuquerque, and my eyes just went crazy on me, and it was predominantly so. You're at a computer a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was when I'm in Albuquerque, I go and I train at about 9:30 to 11, and then I'm off for the rest of the day most of the time until like 5 or 6. So I'm on my phone just playing games, and I had LASIK surgery, and I was playing on a small phone, so it scrambled my vision from afar. So I couldn't see, like when I look from afar, I had to blink, and I couldn't see for like 90% of the day. So
wow.
It completely messed my vision. And I was like researching it, and we thought it was a concussion and all this other stuff, but just doing all the research, and I went to all the neurologists, whatever. Just that's what came back, is just that my eyes started adjusting to the small screen from using it like 5 to 6 hours straight at a time. So
no more phone for you. Although we just saw you on the phone, so.
Man, you know what I'm on right now? I'm on a big iPad. I bought a big iPad Pro, the new ones.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to look.
So it's a game on my phone that I can play on my iPad now. So
okay.
No, it's a phone anymore. Yeah.
So Mousasi's fighting in a couple of weeks. Is that the one that you want back?
Listen, I heard it's funny. Mousasi said before. He said I saw his post-fight interviews, kind of similar to Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall was saying, it's no way Derek can beat me. I'm not worried about him. He's not dangerous. I heard similar things from Mousasi. Mousasi was saying, I'm not worried about Derek. He's not dangerous. I mean, are you kidding yourself, man? Like, Mousasi is a slower version of Uriah Hall. Like, once again, Musasi would have to get lucky to beat me. I will, yeah, for sure. I would love to have that fight back. Anybody who's going to do something for my brand or do something for my name, I would love to have that fight. And like I said, I'm not being cocky. I'm not being arrogant. I just work hard and I'm very confident. I feel if you just put in the time, everything will start developing at the right time.
I feel like the next fight has to be a big one, whether it's Musasi Belfort winner, Anderson. I feel like you need a big fight now. I mean, 4 in a row. Come on. 4 in a row first round, 5 in a row in total.
You know what? I didn't want to say this, but
yes, go ahead, say it.
I wasn't going to say it, but to be honest, the best fight for me, pride-wise, would be Jacare, honestly. But you know what? Now, with saying that, this is a sport, and I heard Matt Hughes and a couple other guys say I don't do MMA for the money. I do. Like, I'm an athlete. Like, I'm not going to be if fighting was free, I wouldn't do it. Like, I might put on like headgear. I might do like amateur style, like with some headgear, like some shin guards, double mouthpiece, something like that. I love martial arts. I love getting better. I would train. I would always train, but I wouldn't put myself in front of millions of people. It's a lot of media. It's a lot of stuff that go into fighting, not just anyone can do it. It's a lot of pressure, so I wouldn't put myself out there if it wasn't for the money. So, you're talking about a guy who's number 1 or 2 in the world. That should be a big money fight, So in other words, if I was getting paid Nate Diaz money, Conor McGregor money, that would be the first fight I would want right now.
Okay. All right. Because you want to get that one back.
Yes, and I'm very confident.
Yeah. He's fighting Luke Rockhold again in 2.5 months, so maybe the timing won't work. But who do you like in that fight?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. I watched the first fight.
Yeah.
And I don't think Rockhold won that fight. I don't care what anybody say. Rockhold got dropped twice. He got taken down twice, and he really didn't land anything significant on his feet. How he won the fight is he stayed very active. He was kicking his arm, kicking his leg. He out-pointed him. He stayed more busy. So that's how he won that fight. It was very close. It was a split, but I remember the fight like in my head. But I don't know, man. Look at Bisping isn't a power puncher, and he put Rockhold down. So I don't know. But then again, Jacare is very stiff.
You're going back and forth here.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm very confused on this fight.
They should send you out there to Melbourne, get some press, get some love. Watch that thing cage side. You need some of that. You know what? I think I'm gonna show up to Australia. Yeah, you should.
I'm gonna do that.
I give you
got my word.
I give you a lot of respect for coming out and saying, like, there's nothing wrong with a pro athlete who's in the prize fighting business. What is this at the end of the day? You're not. I mean, that stuff that Matt Hughes was saying, it was very tone deaf, and it's very easy for a guy of his stature, when his career is all said and done, to start sort of like, putting you guys down, being like, well, why else are you doing this? We have families to feed. I mean, like, to imply that if you are saying publicly that you are fighting for money is a bad thing is really unfair to you guys. It really is. I mean, we could all live in this fantasy universe. At the end of the day, why am I doing this job? Is to make a living. We all do that. Like, we're all trying to make money. That's the whole game of life, right? So I give you a lot of credit for actually saying that, because I know a lot of fans don't want to hear that, but you're trying to make money here. You're trying to survive. You're trying to cash in.
It's not about survive. I'm trying to, enable my lifestyle. I'm trying to get out what I'm putting.
Sure.
I have a college degree. Honestly, if I wasn't fighting, I'm all in fighting. Like, I'm 32 now. I graduated college when I was 21, 22. I could have went back to college. I was going to go back to college and get my master's. I was going to go to law school. So therefore, I would have been established in my career, But no, I went all in on MMA, and I have no regrets. I love it. I love waking up every day training. I love being my own boss. But at the end of the day, yeah, that's why we do this. We're trying to get paid. Look at Conor. You think Conor don't fight for money?
Yeah, of course he does.
Well, this guy buys everything he can find. He probably buy a street if they allow him. Like, I don't know. Like, this guy will buy anything. So, I mean, and I like Conor. I like Conor McGregor. I like his style. He does it for money. He fights for money. He's very flashy. Yeah, of course, man. I mean, that's what we do this for. Good vacations, have fun, enable a lifestyle.
Perfect world. When do you want to return?
Perfect world before the end of the year.
Okay. All right. End of the year. So maybe it won't be Jacare if it's the end of the year.
No, and it's not going to be Jacare because it doesn't make sense as far as like rankings and money. Like, if I'm fighting one of the top 5 guys in the world, we're talking a new contract. We're talking being compensated for.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing wrong.
Here we go.
Okay, let's be honest. This is a business. UFC making money, and they make a lot of money. So it's a business. It's a business here.
Well, man, you are putting your money where your mouth is. You are killing it right now. Really, it's been. I remember the first time I saw you fight. Let me try to remember this fight now. Here was July 30th, 2011, and you defeated. You remember who you defeated?
Was that Lumumba Sayers?
Lumumba Sayers. You came out to Miley Cyrus party in the USA.
That was on the Henderson Fedor card.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the first time I covered one of your fights in person, and very impressive. You hit a bit of a snag there with Kendall Grove, as controversial as it was, and then Jacare. Ever since then, man, you have been on fire, and it has been such a joy to watch you turn into this mixed martial artist that you have become. So congratulations on all your success, and I do hope that you get that big fight with those big riches, big prizes, because you're on the rise in that division. I hope you get that big fight. I mean, it's about time. I want to see you fight on a big card, on a big stage against a big time name. You have done enough to deserve that. So congratulations to you, my friend.
All right. Thank you.
All right. All the best. There he is, Derek Brunson, stopping by. Looking forward to what is next for him, and appreciate him stopping by after his big win over Uriah Hall. Let us not forget that he was booked against Gegard Mousasi at UFC 200. So that was a big one. Unfortunately for him, eye issues, couldn't fight. But now I want to see him fight on a big card. I want to see him fight a big time opponent, a big name, right? I mean, it's time, in my opinion. It is time. And how about this, Nurkrik, as we wrap this up, if you're still there?
I'm still here.
You haven't left to Thailand just yet? Nurkrik, by the way, won't be with us. Is it 2 weeks in a row or just one?
What do you mean, just one?
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Sorry, I can't be responsible for anything that is said after the 3-hour mark of the show, so... Just for
or the first hour, or at any point.
But what about the topic of pay? People, look, I didn't bring it up there, right?
Right.
A constant theme.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to avoid it. I feel like up until this point, it's been something that people have carefully danced around.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a possibility anymore. And a lot of it had to do with, some of the headliners, guys like Conor McGregor, kind of blowing the doors off and making it okay for public consumption and really like pointing it out. So
100%. He has changed the game in that regard. Remember when I said we will look back on that Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz feud in a few years' time and just marvel at how many aspects of it changed MMA, and that's one of them. That is one of them. Also, not fighting for a belt. Why are you laughing?
Nothing.
What?
Something unrelated.
What happened?
Email just pinged on my thing. Forget about it. I saw you laughing before too. What were you laughing about? You go first.
I don't remember anything.
Okay.
I wasn't laughing about anything. Okay. That was weird. Anyway, I maintain that we will be looking back on that. Now, a lot of people talking last week before we go about Kane Verdum too. You down with that?
Down with it. But I don't know. I guess I'm hesitant. I'm kind of gun shy about it. But yeah, I of course, that's the fight to make.
Let's give props to Kane, who found out that Stipe Miocic was going to take some time off.
And
well deserved.
Active.
Well deserved. Yeah, he's fought 3 times Stipe in the span of 9 months. Says, give me that fight back.
Now,
sea level, let's do it.
We've had this happen to Kane before, where he took one fight in between, and it didn't go well in the title shot that followed. But
what are we talking about?
Didn't he take? Oh no, opposite. It went well. He took the Silva fight, right, and then the title shot. Okay, so maybe this is the right way to go.
Yeah.
I'm just a little. I don't know. Did I see anything that I want to see run back? I guess. I mean, I guess we'll finally put the C-level Kane thing to bed.
Perfect scenario. We see Kane versus Stipe, but this is the best number 2. Now, I wanted to see JDS versus Verdum.
I agree with
Kane
you there.
was going to fight Stipe. Now I want to see JDS versus Barnett.
That's a good one. I'll take that.
We'll see what happens there.
But yeah, I think Verdum versus JDS did a little more for me. But if this is, the path to the title shot, then that's exciting as well.
What do you like better? Masvidal Gastelum or Gastelum Cerrone?
Masvidal Gastelum? Was that even in play?
Yeah, that was the fight. Masvidal Gastelum was happening November 5th.
Okay, yes.
And then they took it away. I kind of like that one better.
Well, I like Gastelum Cerrone better because I like Cerrone better than I like Masvidal in terms of, putting
From
on
a
an exciting
matchup
fight.
and where it was taking place, Mexico City, I liked Gastelum.
But then what do you do with Cerrone?
Masvidal better. I will say this. If you look at Cerrone's rise as a welterweight, right? So he goes from Cowboy Oliveira, right? Patrick Cote, Rick Story, Kelvin Gastelum. Like you can actually see the steps on the ladder. It really is one fighter after the next. It all makes sense. So I get that. And if I'm being honest, it actually makes more sense than the Robbie Lawler fight from a progression standpoint. But Gastelum Masvidal made, I don't know, just kind of fit better in Mexico City. I don't really know. There were some options out there. Khabib at 170 or maybe even at 155 for Cerrone. If he wasn't getting the title shot, I think that has a lot more. There's no heat between Gastelum and Cerrone, and it seems like Cerrone has heat with a lot of guys. So that's why I kind of was like,
I will take keeping Cerrone active over keeping a fight between Masvidal and Gastelum together.
Yeah, but why not do the Khabib fight?
Habib versus Cerrone?
Yeah.
If that's on the table, then I'm in.
Well, Khabib said he wanted to do it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know if that was.
All right.
Let's if that was truly in play, I will take that fight way more. I would like that fight way more than I'd like Gastelum Cerrone for sure.
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens this week as it pertains to 205 because something's got to give, right?
Yeah.
It's going to happen, and there are fights that have been officially announced. In fact, I think I wrote them down. No, excuse me, not officially announced. That are probably going to happen.
One's off now. One was Iaquinta.
Liz Carmouche versus Caitlin Chukagian. Iaquinta Alves is off. Cerrone Gastelum, we know. Evans Kennedy. Edgar Stevens is still not 100% last time I checked in on it. Eddie Connor. I told you about that one. Still not done. Not close to done. Woodley, Stephen Thompson. Woodley announced that. John Vellante against Marcos Rogerio de Lima. That has been reported. Chris Weidman versus Yoel Romero. Not done. So there are still some things that need to be decided in the next 7 to 14 days, I guess.
That's a good card, though.
It is a good card. If it comes to fruition, something's got to give.
Let's get Ray Janelle on that card.
Yeah.
God dang it.
Seriously. I mean, I will be sad if he's not on the card.
I will, too. I mean...
That whole story is very bizarre with the strikes and all that.
Well,
now, if you're playing devil's advocate, you have to say, look, if you verbally agreed, maybe the best course of action wasn't to agree to a fight and then come back and say, oh, by the way, I'd like more money, right? I'm sure he'd rather have done it a different way. But you also get what he's saying about the Reebok deal and the times have changed and the contract has changed.
yeah, this seems to be operating independent of that individual fight. This is the timing is because of this individual fight. But I don't think, even if he wasn't booked to fight somebody in New York, that he wouldn't feel the same way. This is just what brought it to light. So I don't necessarily feel like the issue is that he took a fight and is now kind of backing out of it. It's more an overall thing that has been building up.
Fair enough.
I get exactly what you're saying, though. Look, if you agreed to
he probably should have done it the opposite way, right?
He should have done this first and then worked it out and then decided. But clearly, he has some kind of argument here, and it'll need to be addressed. And if not, then he just won't be able to fight, which is not good for any of us. But I mean, in the meantime, if you're looking for some property, you know where to go.
That's right. Ragin Al Realty. And another fascinating thing is that when you look at the divisions, bantamweight title still not booked, featherweight, lightweight, middleweight's coming up, light heavyweight, strawweight. I'm seeing Ioana Jacek popping up in ATT, Coconut Creek, Florida. So she seems to be in the United States, and also women's bantamweight. Fascinating times in the sport of mixed martial arts. I'm sure next week we will have a lot to discuss. Sadly, New York Rick will not be with us, but we will miss you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't know how sincere that was, but
Listen, it's as sincere as it's going to get at 4:42 p.m. All right.
okay. I will miss you and the fans as well.
Oh, wow. I don't know how sincere that was. That was actually worse than mine, if I'm being honest.
I actually really will.
All right.
It's very rare that I miss a show, but I will.
Godspeed. Hopefully it's not raining outside. I've yet to miss a show this year, I believe, just for the record.
Yeah, but you see, your numbers
nothing
come
else
with
to
an
do.
asterisk
Why?
because you can cancel the show, and therefore
But
it's
I've
not
yet
like,
to do
it's
it.
not quote unquote like missing a show.
I believe from the first week of January up until September, we have not missed 1 week this
I
year.
don't think so.
That's pretty impressive. I'm proud of that.
Yeah,
We're like Cal Ripken over here.
give the people what they want.
That's right.
Okay,
Val Quinta what he wants.
right.
Okay, we're done. You can hit my music. Another busy weekend coming up in the world of mixed martial arts. As I said, Ryzen, Invicta, UFC, some very good fights. And a lot of news is definitely going to happen in the next 7 days. That's one thing I know for certain. There is a lot of news that is going to happen. It always happens. It never stops. It never ends in MMA. And that's why we love it. That's why I love covering it so much. And again, I will reiterate, for the people who keep saying, why do you keep talking about money? Just look at the Brunson interview. It's on everyone's mind. It really is. The sport is changing, evolving in front of our eyes. It really is. And fighters are getting smarter than they were 5 years ago. The dynamics have changed. The finances have changed. The economics have changed. It's all changing. To ignore it would be careless, reckless. I'm not that guy. It's interesting stuff. It really is. We're going to look back on this era and say, wow, this sport was so different back then. Because I do believe it's going to get better for everyone involved, for the fighters especially. It's going to get better, hopefully sooner rather than later. Thank you to everyone who stopped by. Congratulations to Chael Sonnen. Appreciate you talking about the impetus of the whole damn thing. Thank you very much to Chris Cyborg. What a story that is to follow, right? Wow. 25 pounds? What is going on here? Hopefully it ends in a positive light for her. Thank you very much to Ed Suarez and Sven Beam. Congratulations. Thank you very much to Sage Northcutt. All the best to Ally Quinta. Thank you very much to Patty Pimblett, Michael Johnson. Congratulations, and congrats to Derek Brunson. Back next week, same time and place. Till they say peace. I'm out of here.